Welcome to Kano Iwanyayi broadcast. This is Sangwadzispiwe Chigwanda-Matron. I meet you again with another segment of ordinary people doing extraordinary stuff. Today, I've got a very interesting woman, my friend, my sister, Mrs. Marge Chigwanda, who is the matron and the administrative mother of Peace Mutoko. Welcome to the program, Mrs. Chigwanda.
Welcome, Sangwadzispiwe. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. It's nice to see you here. And I know I am broadcasting today and you're here in Canada. You're going back, but it's nice to see you and to be able to talk about the work that you're doing at Mother of Peace. I've got great passion for Mother of Peace because that's my hometown, Mutoko. But yes, I would like to first and ask you what Mother of Peace, when it was started, what the mandate was. I know everybody knows that Mother of Peace, they were taking care of children who had HIV, but go ahead, give us a background to Mother of Peace, why it was started, when it was started, and what was the idea.
Okay, thanks, Spiwe. Mother of Peace was born on the 24th of June, 1989, in South Africa, Randburg. But, then in Zimbabwe, it was about the same year that it was transferred, because these are two Mother of Peace places we're talking about, one in Joburg, one in Durban, and one in Zimbabwe. So the one in Zimbabwe was actually registered in 1994 with the Social Welfare and Department. The purpose was, as you say, to look after HIV and AIDS, orphans, also other vulnerable children, and also, most importantly, people didn't know, it was actually to form communities of Catholic families that would live in prayer, in prayer, life of simplicity, life of love, as a direct call from heaven, to wait for the second coming of our Lord Jesus Christ. That was the mandate.
Okay, I do know that it's very faith-based, and like you said, the people who started it, it was faith-based. But tell me, what was the idea? Why did they form Mother of Peace Mutoko? Let's talk about the Mutoko. Let's try and concentrate or focus on the Mutoko one, where you are the matron and the administrator, because I want to go further into what it did and how many people went through there and where we are right now. What was the idea? Why did they form it?
Okay, the whole idea was to look after the disadvantaged children, which came to be mainly the orphans of HIV and AIDS, and also, those people who are seeking spiritual care in their lives. I'll talk more about it in terms of who comes in and what they do, and in terms of their prayer. So it was all those things in one place. But it is known worldwide, I'm sure, in terms of mainly looking after the orphans and the vulnerable children.
I do know that back in the 80s when it was started, there were so many kids who were left, who were abandoned because of almost like the mystery of HIV that time. People didn't want to have anything to do with the stigma associated with it. And so many parents who died and then left children and relatives didn't want to take care of. And I know they took a lot of them. How many, at any point, did Mother of Peace hold? How many kids?
Actually, at that time, it held almost 150 children at one go.
Wow.
Because of what, you're talking about, during the HIV era, and also other factors that were happening in life, young girls getting pregnant and, bonding those children. So all those things made the Mother of Peace really a big, place for care of these children.
Where did you get money? Where did you get the money to run that place, the establishment? Because it's quite a large establishment. I don't have pictures to show Mother of Peace right now, but it's quite a large establishment with dormitories and schools and clinic and all that stuff. Where did the money come from?
Okay, money came mostly from good wishers. And I would like to mention maybe, respectively for the late Dr. Bernard, if you remember. He actually left a lot of money too to help Mother of Peace to go on, but other players came in to help Mother of Peace, because at that time it was the only organization that could look after HIV and AIDS, orphans. Most people, as you mentioned, stigma, it was a no-go area. In fact, even the hospitals, it was very difficult to send a child there because people didn't know. The lack of information was the main factor, and so there was lots of high stigma, to the extent that Mother of Peace actually had to start their own school for these children because they were also being stigmatized even in schools. So that's how bad it was.
So I know your school. They did start a school at Mother of Peace, and where are the children, the kids who came? I know some of them were like newly born, and it's now a good what, nearly 30 years now.
Yes.
Where are these kids now?
Okay, as time went on, Mother of Peace, because we have regulations with the social welfare that, when a child is now 18, it's an adult, and we should reintegrate them into the societies, where they came from, or if they could be identified. And this is what Mother of Peace work was, to trace, to find out if there was any, relation or anybody who could, including foster parents, who take these children into their homes, even, despite not knowing where they came from. So this is what happened. This was a lot of work because these were a lot of children. Up to the time that I'm talking now, we still have children who are not really well settled in the integration of society, and they still come back to us because it was a huge task. We didn't realize that. So most of them have gone into foster parents. Those we could trace relations, we did. We tried to trace where they are, but still they come back to us and say, we don't have, money to send these children to school and all that. So it all fell back on us. And this is ongoing, even though we had such a, successful rate of,
Yeah.
integrating them into society.
I now, as I said, it's quite some years now that I assume some of them are done with university, right?
That's right. In fact, we have some who have gone through university, but very few, because apparently this is something we realized, that a child being brought up in an institution, we had very low academic life in terms of going further with their education. So most of them, thank heavens, we managed to place them into. Some of them went for school for skills like build, carpentry, building and all that kind of thing. So most of them, some of them are working as in their houses, as house wives or whatever. But it's all different things that they're doing to try and survive.
Have you married off some of the
Yes,
kids
we
who
have actually successfully, yes.
yeah,
But amazingly, I think because they grew up in Mother of Peace, we still become like the
the
mother in
family?
terms of their, challenges in married
Oh,
life.
I can
So
understand. That's the
we
home
actually
they
have
know.
gone through.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
Mhm,
That's true.
mhm.
Yeah. So
Well,
we
congratulations.
accept that.
You've married off some, and I
Yeah.
assume Mother Peace has got some grandchildren from some of the
Oh
uh
yes, we're very happy with
nice.
that.
That's
Yes, those are the ones we have.
oh,
But some of them have gone to say they have this child, they are going to abandon it, and we've been phoned by people. What do you do with this child? And those are the things that we meet in life. You know,
mm,
and what happened to them, they also want to do it to their own babies, and
okay.
so that's what happens in life.
Okay. Now
Yeah.
we've kind of laid the scenario of what Mother of Peace was all about, the mandate was, and who went through there. And we're talking of 30 years later.
Mhm.
I don't think you have as many kids who are coming through there because the whole face of HIV has changed a lot, right? And
Mhm.
people are living longer with it. And, as I said, most of those kids, some are married now who have gone through Mother of Peace is their home, really, pretty much. You went to school, now working, and, you kept getting a few more, a few more. How many do you have left now?
Right now, okay, I will say on the books. I say on the books because those are the physically, the children are physically at Mother of Peace. and who are known by they're on the social welfare books as registered there, from Mother of Peace. We have 3 at the moment, but they're all in
Only
school.
3?
Only 3. But as I said, but we have lots more who are not in the books. What I'm saying here is that this community there, surrounding community in where Mother of Peace is very poor.
Yeah.
Even the children who come to this school are still under us in a way, because we have to support them, we have to feed them, and I'll give you the numbers maybe later. But what happens there is a community that looks up to Mother of Peace because they've been looking after the children. And so we are still a mother, even to the surrounding community.
Yeah.
And then not forgetting that the ones that have gone on to be 18 still look up to us to see their education through, in terms of, I know one right now who is aspiring to go outside the country to do his studies because he couldn't find his studies in Zimbabwe. And again, funds to get in there come back to us. We can even talk about, the school I'm talking about, which was started by Mother of Peace. We don't have children belonging to Mother of Peace now because they're all gone.
Because I was going to ask you, because if they're gone, so what are those classrooms? Who is attending school at Mother of Peace School then? I assume they're villagers?
They are villagers. They're also the very township children, which is close by. But the reason why we still take care of them, because they are coming attending this school, but I was saying we got about 80% those who attend this school are from very poor families. And even the school fees that we talk about, they wouldn't go to school if they're not able to pay their fees. So we end up being, there for them in terms of making their life, a bit better. That's where we come in. I was going to talk to about like simple things like even water. They don't have water to drink at the school.
But
So
I thought you had a dam.
Okay, the dam is there, but it's not for it's not drinking. It's not safe drinking water.
Okay.
So what would really be ideal is like having a borehole for them. And when we say a borehole, it also has to be a borehole that doesn't cost too much, so that you are able to provide at least water for these children. So we really are there for the children, not necessarily that they've been put to us, but because they are in our premises, they belong to us. Yes. So this is what happens.
Okay. Now kids, HIV kids, they're gone. Now you are taking care of kids from the village. And how much is school fees for per child?
It's $25 per term. $25 per term. Yes. But even that is very difficult for most one.
Yeah. How many kids do you have right now?
320.
Oh, that's quite a bit.
It is, yes.
Yeah. And so it ranges from what grades to what grade?
This is from grade 1. Okay, we have some but from grade 1 to 7.
Okay.
Yes. And these children, that's why I would say about 80% have challenges paying fees. And this is what the head has been saying to us, that I don't know how we can survive, to keep the school going. Because really it's the poverty that is there. And the school is one of the cheapest for the surrounding schools. So 25 is quite reasonable, but still you find that 80% can't make it.
And they are not boarders. They go home and come to school in the morning.
That's right. They go home and come back to school, but we've realized some of them hardly eat anything. And this has been wrong. So what we've been doing, was we are on a farm. We grow, vegetables, and sometimes, the maize meal we make into, the salsa. That is the staple diet for most people in Zimbabwe. And we try and provide at least one meal for them. And sometimes that's the only meal they have for the day. And I think things have been going a bit difficult, especially in the environment that we are in economically. So it's been hard going, must say. We didn't foresee these things.
Yeah. But you're doing amazing work. I mean, that's why I asked you to come, because this is incredible. This is major work. This is not ordinary stuff that we are doing, because for you to take this on and providing education for the kids. You're pretty much providing education because the schools are there, and those people, you are operating in an environment where they are high level of employment and no money really. And
True.
so yeah, you pretty much have to rely on well wishers who can give you some money to pay for these kids. Otherwise you can't run because the teachers have to be paid, right?
This is true. Fortunately, the teachers who have not been, the ones forking out the money to pay them, it has been coming from government. But
Oh.
that's about all. But then, I think we all know what is going on. They also complain about low salaries and things like that. So they run out of teachers sometimes when they go for lucrative, jobs or something like that. So this is the day-to-day, things that we have
Yeah.
to handle in a community school like that.
Yeah, you're operating in an environment where there are just so many vulnerable kids in one way or the other. And I know you're a lot of those kids, they come from those townships, in Mutoko township, where it leaves a lot to be desired in terms of caring for the kids and making sure they're safe and they are attending school and all that stuff. And it all falls on you then.
Exactly, it does. In fact, I just remember this is so where you get a child who has no shoes and they're walking miles, kilometers from where they are living. And you find that, this is another sad story because some of them come from very far villages. And what the parents do then is to try and get a accommodation nearer the school, maybe with a relation or, paying rentals like $10 a month for them so that they can attend the school. So this is another sad situation because then you are having children on their own without, adults supervising. This is a worrying thing,
It
but
is.
it is there. It is
It
there.
is.
We have these are the stories that we have. I mean, we have lots of stories that would make us sad, but anyway, we're trying the best that we can so that the children are safe and they continue with their education.
Another thing I was going to ask you, I do know that back in the 90s, I think 80s, 90s, when HIV was really big, it was ravaging that place. Did you have a clinic where you were testing for HIV?
Yes,
It's not,
fortunately, we have. That's right. We have.
is
It's
it
still
still
there.
open? Okay,
In
tell
fact,
us
it's
more
it's
about that.
yeah, okay. This clinic is serving more of the community again, as I say, and
Mhm.
also the people who come to help at Mother of Peace. So it is still there, and it's still doing all these sorts of little things that we do. But we are just like anybody else, also affected by
Yeah.
not having medicines, at the clinic. But people still come in for treatment. And this is mostly the surrounding communities. And we can't charge them. They just come and get,
But I'm also assuming you get money from PEPFAR, so you can't charge them because PEPFAR is providing government with medication, HIV medication, so that it can then cascade down to communities.
that's right, yes.
Okay.
That's right. We can't charge. But I think the general thing is that even the medicines themselves are not easy to come by.
Yes.
Things
Yes.
like Panadols and things, very simple medication that would feel somebody could have. So these are the struggles that we have. But at least the clinic is there, which is
Okay, but how the attendants are people are frequenting the place, coming for testing, and that associated with the stigma surrounding HIV. Do you see any change at all in how people perceive testing?
I think, to be honest, what I find is that the HIV has been overtaken by other conditions. And the testing is not as much as what we do now or they do at the clinic. But other things have come in, like in terms of the times when you had COVID, that was
Yeah.
more relevant in the time that we are living in
And there
than
were
the
more people
HIV.
more scared of COVID than
Exactly, than the HIV, which has gone a bit, you know, on the low side
yes.
in terms of the perceptions.
Hmm.
Mm.
So tell us what if you were going to call out for help from out there for people who are watching us, and what exactly would you need to help Mother of Peace. It's an integral part of Mutoko, I know, and you're doing amazing stuff in communities. I don't know how people can help you other than sending money to you to pay for fees for these kids. What else do you need? You mentioned something about the borehole and
Yes,
yeah.
the borehole. The borehole is really crucial because if we children can have safe water to drink, I think we would have done a wonderful job. And this borehole, we are looking at something like 5,000 to sink it, and then we are done for the whole process to
Okay.
complete. So what I would really suggest is that sometimes you look at yourself and it looks like a lot of money, but your $2 or $5
Exactly.
is so vital in the running of the place. And that's why we really appeal, especially to start with our local people who understand the situation and people know what's going on right now. If they can come forward to say we want to open a fund to run these kind of things, and I think we'll make our place start to refresh again from where we left off, because we feel that families are running under very difficult conditions at the moment, even to feed their own families in their places. So if they can have a place, a central place where children can come and at least have one good meal, go home and then come to learn, I think we'll have done a good job, a really great job. And this place, we also have lots of pilgrims, spiritual pilgrims who come to visit, because there's a Mutema nearby, which people come to climb the mountain and pray all night and things like that. We encourage that, and they also come to Mother of Peace. But if they can come with a mind that they also want to drop in something so that they help the children. And sometimes when you look at Mother of Peace now, I said earlier on, we have 3 children, and that's what it will look like to many people. But they don't know all these other side, jobs that are going on at the moment. That we still have the community itself that
Yeah.
needs help. I think that will be a beginning point to continue.
uh, I do know that the establishment is quite big. It's quite a big mission, so to speak, with dormitories and libraries and very very beautiful. What are you going to do with all those buildings where the kids used to stay and all those mothers who used to raise those kids? Because I've been there several times myself. What's happening with that?
Okay. The library, the school is actually using it.
Okay.
So it's part of the library that is going on to the community children that I was talking about. So it's actually very useful for them, and we'll continue with that. And then the mothers were looking after the children, we still have some of them have left on their own accord because we couldn't afford them. We couldn't even pay them, and we are not looking at a lot of money, but even giving them something like $40 a month, we're quite happy to sit on, but we have lost that because some of them have left. But there are still some who are voluntarily saying we'll continue to look after the children. Even those 2 children, they also need caregivers because that's a requirement. You still
Yes.
need to do that. So, we are losing again staff because of the payment issues. We can give them accommodation, we can give them a bit of our food, but they also need,
Of course.
some remuneration of some sort to
Because
continue
that,
to
that
do the
was
good
just
work.
a lot of work for those kids, and to them that those were the mothers they knew.
Exactly, exactly, exactly. And that's why they keep coming back to us
Yeah,
because, these are the people they knew, and they can't, leave your mother and to start and, to look at another new mother. It
yeah.
doesn't work like that.
And I
So,
know I've brought you as an ordinary person doing extraordinary work. I mean, hats off to those mothers, those women who were uh, doing the mothering
mm,
kids in
mm,
those dormitories and taking care of those kids. That's the kind of work that you just don't do because you're being paid. It has to be a calling. It has to be something from your heart, raising
mm,
these children, and it's absolutely amazing. And hats off to
mm.
them. Hats off to them.
Exactly. Even when I was here, one of the mothers whom I thought was really one of the best mothers that we ever had, just said, "Mama, I can't continue. I'm leaving." And I said, oh, dear.
Right.
What can you say? What can you say?
And they put in many, many years, with Mother of Peace taking care of
Mm.
these kids. Yeah, yeah.
Mm. The other thing that I didn't mention is that, we are also accepting short-term, shelter for children who are under difficult circumstances. Like
Yes.
some of them have gone through, families have gone through difficulties with children going, abuse of, substances. And these become, again, an issue of counseling and taking them back. Because basically, I think the whole country is trying to get rid of or to do away, as other states have done, other countries have done, in terms of institutions. They
Yeah.
have got their own side effects and all that. But in the process, we still have to have these kind of, places for counseling for the, the children under difficult circumstances, or youth really under difficult circumstances.
Are you getting quite a few of those kids who
Yes,
are going through substance use?
yes, we got, we are getting quite a few of those. They come and we counsel them, they get reintegrated with their family.
And any success stories?
It's too early yet because it's something that we just started doing.
Yeah.
But we are just hoping that, whatever we have started, because obviously we're still observing the interaction with their families, and then they will report to us to say, we are okay now with the child. And
Do they come voluntarily, or the parents bring them because they don't know what to do? They're struggling with the kids.
the parents, go through the social welfare, and then they bring them to us.
Do they stay on? Yeah.
They stay on Mother of Peace,
Okay.
having food, everything. That's why I'm still saying we still need all those things, because we still have to, have the caregivers, who need to be paid, and also, their food, their whatever, so that we continue to give them counseling sessions, and even maybe having the parents in as well.
Yes.
But this is the road now that we are moving into. It's just happening,
Yeah.
before our
Well,
eyes.
things evolve, communities evolve, and challenges, they come and go, and time and time again we keep getting new challenges. And
True.
when we were talking of HIV, who ever thought we were going to be faced with this big problem of substance use in our communities and our children?
Exactly.
Nobody did, but look at where we are. But do you have professional counselors to give counseling to these kids, or how does that work?
We are counselors as well. We give professional counseling. I'm sure very few people, know that. They just know the administrator, the matron, but
Yeah.
I'm actually professionally trained in counseling. And I have the social worker full time, and they also help with the counseling. So this we do it on site.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Mrs. Chigwanda-Matron, thank you so much for giving us an insight on what's going on with Mother of Peace Mutoko and the work that you're doing in that community. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And this is extraordinary work you're doing. And without you, nobody would fill that space. And
Thank you.
and to everybody who is listening, anybody who can help, who would like to send some money, who would like to put in some time at Mother of Peace, whatever you need to, please get in touch with me, get in touch with Kano Yanyayi. We can give you all the contacts, who to get in touch with, how to get that help to support these communities and the challenges that they're facing. And we thank everybody who's been following us, and please like, subscribe, and share, so that we share together. We can grow Kano Iwanyai. From me, Sangwa Zispiwa Kachiza Mapumo, you have a wonderful afternoon, a wonderful evening, wherever you are. Goodbye.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah.